So this will be the full service video on the E46 320ci, which is the 2.2 petrol. The car has done 107k and had a full service history up to 99k, but the last service was done 7 years ago, back in 2013. The car's not done much mileage since. I have been using the car for delivery driving, which you'll know if you're already subscribed. I've been getting between 22 and 27 miles per gallon, which, considering how quiet and smooth, pleasant the car is to drive, I think is quite reasonable compared to diesels, which I am kind of going off at the moment now. I'm in my unit today, so I'll be doing the spark plugs and the cabin filter. The rest of the service will be performed in a workshop, so may not have sound. So to get to all the spark plugs, we need to remove this cover here, which is obscured by the cabin filter bulkhead. So we actually need to remove the cabin filter to get to the spark plugs easily. So we remove this cover from the top by just twisting these pieces here. And that removes the cover, and that removes the cabin filter. So upon replacing all these components, we may as well change the cabin filter at that point when doing a full service. So at the back of the cabin filter we've got 4 T30 Torx screws. Unclip this cover here. And pull the cables out. Now the bulkhead can be removed. The screws don't need to be out fully, they can just be loose. Now, because we're removing this whole assembly, it's a perfect opportunity to clean up this whole area, including these drain holes, which can block. If you look here, we've got quite a lot of debris that we can clean out. So now we can remove these little covers. They are concealing a 10mm nut. There's one at the rear as well. Now to remove this cover, you'll need to remove the oil filler cap as well. And watch you don't lose the nuts. You may as well replace the oil filler cap just so you don't knock it off anywhere. So now to get to the spark plugs, we need to remove the ignition coils. So perfect for this is Bojo tip 1. Remove this metal securing clip and disconnect the connector. Now, watch out on cylinders 1 and 6 as they have an earth strap. Do not forget to reattach it. We've just got a 10mm on either side of the coil. So I'm going to be doing all of them anyway, so I'm just going to loosen the bolts on all 6. And that's the other earth strap at the back there, so just be careful when refitting. remove the rest of the connectors and the coils. So I'm going to keep all of the coils in order. I'm not saying that you have to, but I'd prefer to put them all back exactly as they were. Final three. So now using your 10mm, we can remove the spark plugs. I'll have a closer look when we've got them all out. They may be a bit tough to remove, especially if it's the original set of plugs, which I highly suspect on this car. Continue and remove all 6. So I've got all the spark plugs in order and they're all a similar colour. These are the new ones and that's the code for them. Now on the packaging it shows that there's 2 types, so it looks like there's a type with a compression washer and a type with a solid washer. These seem to have the split compression one. So what you'll do is you'll fit the spark plug until it's touching the bottom and then tighten between 1/2 and 2/3 of a turn. So we're fitting the new spark plug into the socket so as not to drop it down into the void and not cause any damage to these. If you do drop a spark plug on the floor, get a new one. Do not use it on the car. So gently inserting the new spark plug. And once it's tight at the bottom, we are tightening between 1/2 and 2/3 of a turn. Repeat for the other 5, exactly the same. Just being careful not to cause any damage to the electrodes. Sat tight on the bottom and tighten by approximately 1/2 or 2/3. Okay, so now replacing the coils, I'd say replace 6 and 1 first. Just then you can make sure that you've definitely got the earth straps put back on. replace the rest. Now you'll notice that I didn't tighten the bolts for the ignition coils one by one. You're better off leaving them all until the same stage. I'd start with the earth strap ones, and what I'd do is count 1, 2, and then count your way up to 12 to make sure that you haven't missed any. 3, and then finish all the rest. And because you've worked from one side to another, you'll know that every single bolt is tight. Now, before you refit the cover, you might want to start the car. Just check every single connector. You've already checked your bolts. And start the car just to make sure. Now we're happy with the engine running again. Remove the oil filler and you can replace this cover. Take care with the 10mm nuts. I left them in position. So I've given this a good clean out, clean the rubber drains properly. So we're just retightening the T30 Torx screws at the back and replacing this wiring at the front. So the airflow is up. These parts here locate into the bottom there. So push the filter down and into position. And replace the cover by sliding back under the rubber seal. Much to the dismay of my knees and allergies, I'm having to continue to do the service the old-fashioned way. So we'll get on with the oil. Now, underneath the car, we'd normally have a cover here, and we've got a 17mm sump plug. While we're waiting for the oil to drain out fully, we can get on with the oil filter. So we've got 36mm on the top. Oh, really? So with the new filters on BMWs or in the service kits, you tend to get, with the oil filter, you tend to get a new sump washer in with the new O-ring seal for the filter housing. So anyway, we'll change the O-ring for the filter housing. Don't lose your new sump washers. Make sure you get some fresh oil on the O-ring all the way around. So this centre doesn't seem to be part of the filter, but it is pretty well jammed in. And also in the oil filter kit, it doesn't come with these two little O-rings, which normally you would expect it to. However, it does fit. So I would have expected there to be new O-rings in the kit, but there isn't. So as they're in alright condition, I'm going to leave them as is. But if you do have any, I would replace them, preferably. Refit and tighten to 25 Newton meters. Change the O-ring on the sump plug. Refit and tighten to 25 Newton meters. You can now refill the oil. Now I've got a capacity of 6.5 litres, which does seem like a lot, but I'll have to add this 5 litre bottle, and I'll probably add another litre, and then I'll sit the car back down on the ground so that it's level, and fill up to the max level on the dipstick. Fill come out. So we'll be looking for that second gap. So once you're somewhere near the capacitor that you're looking for, replace the oil filler cap and start and run the engine for a few minutes, switch it back off, and as long as the car's on a level surface, then you'll want to be checking the dipstick and fill into the max level. Check that the sump plug's not leaking if you have access still under the car. So now the air filter. On the airbox we've got these clips all the way around. Now some of these are quite difficult to get to, such as this one here. It's quite a small area. But we don't need to remove anything fully. Just lift the lid of the airbox enough to pull the old filter out. Check the airbox for debris and vacuum out if necessary. Now when fitting air filters, always check that the sides are smooth and in position correctly. So the fuel filter is under this cover here, surrounded by 8mm bolts with 2 nuts up here. So these 2 at the front really are very easy to get. I've just about managed. And then we've got a 10mm for the bracket supporting the fuel filter. And I've managed to break this rubber hose here, so we'll see if we can replace that with something. Now once you manage to loosen these Jubilee clips, you can pull the pipes out, but do prepare to lose a bit of petrol. Or preferably plug the ends of the pipes with something at both ends. So I did have to go get a piece of replacement 4mm hose, as it had broken off on the old filter. I'll show you that underneath as well. Chop a piece to length and fit it over the plastic pipe. So these Jubilee clips are removable with a screwdriver. Flat. Right, so I've struggled at length to remove the old rubber pipes from the old filter, and I've fitted them to the new filter and I've got them in position, ready to tighten with new Jubilee clips. Now these original ones have a special tool to tighten and remove. I don't have one, but I'm going to use just one of them. Tighten with pliers. And then I need to repair the vacuum, or the pipe that was perished. That's the pipe repaired, so I can fit the clamp around the new filter. The pipe's repaired now. I can refit the clamp. Tighten the clamp and check all the hoses, all the clamps are tight. Still need to tighten these ones. Now the fuel filter's back in place and we've tightened all the Jubilee clips and pipes, we can now attempt to start the car. So if you cycle the ignition a few times, this is likely to pump some fuel into the filter. Don't work on every car, but as far as I'm aware it does usually work. Be sure to check for leaks. Now we're confident there are no leaks, replace the metal guard under the car. I found that the pipes perished at the other end, so I'm going to replace that as well with a new bit of rubber hose. You should hold this button here with the ignition off and then turn the ignition on and hold it, keep it held, and then oil service interval should come up on here. But I can't show you how to do it because the car doesn't need a service or it doesn't allow you to reset it on the dash. Thanks for watching the full service video on the 320Ci. I'm really hoping that I've secured a new car this weekend, so do stick around to see what that is. I'll see you in the next one.